Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's AutoCareersBC webinar, So You Want to Be a Hero. What many don't realize is just how important the role of a tow truck operator plays in our society. Think about it. How many times have you been stuck in traffic because of an accident or a stalled vehicle in the middle of the road? What would happen if there's no one able to move that vehicle? You wouldn't get to work, school, or home on time. An ambulance wouldn't be able to get to the hospital, a fire truck to an emergency, or a police officer to help someone in need. They'd all be stuck. That's when a tow truck operator comes in to save the day. Tow truck operators are the essential piece of the puzzle that keeps our roads moving. They're the ones to sometimes arrive on the scene of an accident, the ones there to comfort and alleviate the immediate stress of the driver in the situation. They work alongside first responders to make sure the driver of the vehicle is taken care of while ensuring the roads are clear and the environment is left behind in pristine condition. They're the heroes of the highway. But don't take it from me. Today we have Chris Logan, our guest speaker and owner of Roadway Towing in Delta, BC, and winner of the 2019 Wreckmaster Award. Welcome, Chris.
Good morning, everybody.
Also joining us today is Sarah Bruce, assistant editor of Tow Canada magazine, a publication dedicated to covering the opportunities and challenges the industry faces. Welcome, Sarah.
Hey, everyone.
So just a few housekeeping items. During the discussion, feel free to type out any questions you might have about the towing industry, and we'll get to your questions at the end. Also today, we're giving away a special opportunity to win a ride along with Roadway Towing. The winner will get to see firsthand just how exciting being a tow operator is. If you're interested, private message us in the chat, your name and your email, and you'll be actually entered to win the draw. So now over to today's guest speaker. Chris, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you become a tow operator?
Well, good morning, everybody. Again, thank you for having me. I started my career as a tow operator back in 2007. I came from a totally different background. I was in the lumber industry. My father-in-law started and owned Roadway Towing. I saw what he was doing with his business, and it really intrigued me. So I spent numerous years asking to be a part of his business and his organization, and so it took a lot of nagging and perseverance, and finally gave me the green light to be part of his team. So I worked for my father-in-law for about 3 years, and back in 2010 is when I purchased the business. And to be honest with you, I haven't looked back. I haven't looked back since. I've enjoyed the journey so far, and looking forward to some more experiences along the way.
What's the best part about being a tow operator, Chris?
I'm sorry, sir. I didn't hear the question.
Oh, sorry. What's the best part about being a tow operator?
For me, I mean, I think that that answer is going to vary with a lot of different people. But for me, the best part about being a tow truck operator is the ability to change or make a difference in somebody's day. So typically, if somebody needs their car unlocked, or their battery boosted, or they've been in an accident or some sort of mishap, they're having pretty much a bad day. So for me, it's just about taking that negative experience for somebody and turning it into something positive. So I just enjoy helping people and making a difference in their lives.
So what skills and qualifications are necessary to become a tow operator, Chris?
So realistically, to become a tow truck operator, there's not a lot of skill required. I mean, the minimum that you would need is in British Columbia, a Class 5 license. So most tow companies will provide training for their new operators. So we provide training in-house, and we also outsource our training as well. So Class 5 license is really all you need. It helps to be able to think outside the box a little bit and be committed 110% every day to what you're doing.
So you talk a little bit about the skills needed, but what about the attributes? What does it take to be a tow operator?
It just takes realistically, it takes dedication, giving it 110% of your effort every single day, and ultimately making good and wise choices. And by doing that, you're going to get positive outcomes throughout each and every single day.
So then, that being said, what training is available?
Like I said before, typically most tow companies, they do their own in-house training. But typically, in my opinion, and again, it's just my opinion, those people that are doing the training are probably the most long-term employee for a tow company. And, I don't know whether they necessarily know all the right things. They've been taught by somebody and they were taught by somebody else. And so the information sort of gets watered down, so to speak. So, we utilize RecMaster. It's a company based out of Ontario and Buffalo, New York. So they do online classes. So you do a bunch of modules, and then at the end there's a knowledge check. There's also there's hands-on courses available too through RecMaster, where they'll come to various different cities in Canada and the US, and they'll provide 2 days of training, 3 days of training, depending on what level of class it is. But it's typically each day is 4 hours in class and 4 hours hands-on outside in the sandbox, doing various different activities. And what they show and what they teach, it's all been validated, tested, and proven to work. So it's a great tool for us to fully train our staff to be the best that we can be.
And you were the RecMaster of the Year in 2019. What does that mean?
What it is, so I was nominated by my peers. So in the RecMaster organization, so to speak, there's about 40,000 students that have taken some level of training. So back in 2019, I was nominated by those peers as being basically the best of the best. I'm not saying that I'm any better than anybody else. I still choose to learn and get guidance every single day. But it was an honor to be acknowledged that I'm on the right path to doing the right things.
Well, congratulations. Have you ever had a chance to be a hero on the job? Can you tell us about what that might have felt like?
Yeah, well, maybe you can tell by my demeanor, I'm somewhat humble. So I don't know whether being a hero is the right terminology. In my mind, a hero is somebody that's got superpowers and they typically have a cape. So to me, that's a hero. But I guess, in other terms, just by making a difference in somebody's day, whether their car is broken down and just needs a boost, or we need to unlock it or change their flat tire, we just need to do the right thing and make a difference in those people's day, turn it from a negative part of their day into something positive. So that's sort of my outlook on, I guess, the hero of the day, so to speak.
Fair enough. So Chris, what's an average day in the life of a tow truck operator look like exactly?
The average day, every single day is different. If you've ever been driving down the highway, and probably most of us have, if there's a long lineup of traffic and we're at the very end of the lineup of traffic, the scenery doesn't seem to change. It gets rather boring. And I think there's a lot of careers or a lot of jobs in our world today that it's monotonous and mundane and the scenery never seems to change. So, the life of a tow truck operator, it changes every single day. You could start your day by changing a flat tire or giving somebody a boost or unlocking their car, potentially even going to an accident scene and cleaning it up. At the end of the day, no two jobs they're similar, but they're not necessarily the same. So I guess the days change, and I'm not sure what I'm trying to really say, but what I want to say is that no two jobs are the same. Everything is different. You meet different people, a lot of great people, a lot of people that you may not want to meet again, but it's just is different. It evolves every single day. So that's what something different every single day.
And what about the question I know we're all here to know, what is the earning potential of a tow truck operator?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. The earning potential, it's going to vary. So in the towing industry in Canada, most tow companies pay their operators on a commission. A lot of people are a little bit leery on commission. It's like being a salesperson. They don't know how much money they're going to make at the end of the day or at the end of the month. Yeah, but from my experience, when our staff is on commission, they tend to work a little bit harder. So that being said, the more you put into your routine throughout the day, the more earning potential you have. So, the earning potential can be anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 plus. It just depends on on how you want to pursue your career. If you want to lollygag around, then clearly you're not going to make very much revenue for yourself. But if if you put your mind to it and just work hard and do all the right things and give it 110% effort every single day, the sky's the limit, so to speak, on earning potential.
Great. So I actually have a question. Something that's on my mind is, we know there's a tow operator position. What other career opportunities are in the towing and recovery industry?
Yeah, good question. I mean, it's not all about being a tow truck operator. It takes many different people to make to operate and run the business. So it's not just about being a tow truck operator. It can be about being a dispatcher or a bookkeeper, or potentially a driver manager or an operations manager. There's various different opportunities in our industry, and it's not specific to being a tow truck operator. But I guess it's like any other job. You typically start in a position, and you have a goal set to become somewhere else in that business or that industry. So there are a lot of different opportunities, and it's not just limited to tow truck operators.
And what's the most exciting recovery job you've ever performed?
There's a lot of those. We've done a lot of recoveries, and a lot are fairly exciting. One that really comes to mind and really sticks at the front of my mind is a job we assisted Mitchell's Towing with back in, I believe it was 2016 or 2017. Mitchell's Towing called us to assist them with a job, and it was out at BC Ferries, and a transport truck. They were loading the transport trucks onto the bottom deck of the ferry, and as the truck was driving on the ramp, it was a low trailer. He got hung up on his trailer was too low to make the ramp, so he got hung up. So he couldn't drive forward, couldn't drive backwards. So they needed a tow truck to pull him off the ramp and give him another shot at getting back in the boat. But the planets seemed to align that day. It was an interesting day. It was a day of a king tide, so the oceanic tides changed 12 feet in levels, I guess. So as that truck was stuck going into the ferry, the tide was going out, which means the ferry was dropping on the ramp, loading into the boat. So as that was happening, the truck itself was going downwards along with the ferry while the trailer was stuck on the ramp. So the tractor continued to go down, go down, go down. The ferry was pushing down on the truck. It broke the kingpin and fifth wheel plate off the truck, which is the part that connects the two together. And the tractor was actually standing on its nose inside the ferry. So there was a lot of communication to be had, a lot of timing of doing things at a certain time to be had. Nothing on that boat or that ferry could be done without the say-so from the captain of the ship. So it was a great experience, and that job took well over 12 hours because we had to wait for the tides to come back in. As the tide came back in, the truck started to rise. We had to reattach the truck back to the trailer, wait for that optimal moment, and then winch the truck and trailer back out of that ferry as one unit. It was the only way to do it. We couldn't get inside the ferry for obvious reasons. So there was only one way to really do it properly. And I think we were successful. We did a great job. It was a great opportunity to work with a competitor and a friend. It was a big deal. That ferry was shut down for well over 12 hours. So it was a big deal. And it still sits at the front of my mind as being right up there with the most favorable recovery that I've had the opportunity to participate with.
Sounds pretty heroic to me.
Yeah, it looks really intense.
Yeah, it was.
So let's look at some of the challenges when it comes to the job. Obviously, we know there's some misconceptions when it comes to the towing and recovery industry. But what are some misconceptions about the industry that people might not understand?
I truly believe a lot of misconceptions, and I guess the perception of the towing industry seems to change all the time, and it seems to be getting a better perception from the general public. But I think a lot of people still look at tow truck operators as being pardon my language, but a bit of a junkyard crack in the ass kind of guy. I'm gonna probably age myself a little bit, but years ago there was a TV series on TV called The Dukes of Hazzard, and there was a tow truck operator on there, and he had all torn up jeans, an old ball cap. He was greasy, dirty, and I think that's what people tend to, not all people, but a lot of people tend to think of tow truck operators as greasy and dirty and maybe not quite so honest. And I think I think people sort of perceive the towing industry is maybe sort of associated with crime. I know that that's just a small percentage in our industry, and I think it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I think there's some bad people in those industries, but I think for the most part it's a great industry, and we're doing the right thing to make a difference and make it more positive and more professional and make a difference to people's lives every single day.
I know, Chris, we've had this discussion before where there is that misconception that this industry is very simplistic. But from our earlier conversations, you mentioned that, yeah, there's math involved. There's quite a bit of calculation when it comes to recovery. Is that correct? Yeah,
there certainly is. And that comes with the training, taking proper training that has been validated and tested. It's not a matter of rolling up with your tow truck to somebody that's stuck in a field or in a ditch and pulling your winch line out and attaching it to that vehicle and just engaging that winch line, hoping it's going to come out. We want to pride ourselves in working within our working load limits of all our rigging, including our tow trucks. So by learning how to calculate various different types of resistances, by doing that, you'll be successful every single time, and you'll only have to do the job once. So again, I pride my business on proper training. So, all my staff get proper training. They take either the online classes or they take the hands-on classes. And, some of my staff that have gone through parts of the RecMaster curriculum, I'll allow them to do a little bit of the training with my staff. So that's sort of what I'm all about and what I want to sort of, I guess, throw out there, that training, and it's an important role. I mean, the firefighters train every single day, police train, EMTs train. So I feel that we should train too, to be professional, just like, those other entities that everybody sort of thinks is or believes is professional. So
what would you say to a new tow operator wanting to become a heavy duty tow operator?
It's a great opportunity. I think a lot of people sort of tend to believe that the heavy tow truck operator is the guy that has all the knowledge, and I don't necessarily believe that. I think that there's a lot of light duty tow operators that can far outperform a lot of heavy duty tow truck operators. But if somebody is wanting, let's just, for example, if they started out in a light duty tow truck and they want to sort of move up to the heavy duty side of things, and it's continuing to do the right things, learn, get educated, make wise decisions, and just give it 110% every single day. Whether you're operating a heavy tow truck or a light duty tow truck, it's really exactly the same. The driving license or the driver's license is obviously different, but the other sort of methodology of hooking up and recovering, it's all pretty much the same. So it's just a matter of giving it your all and being dedicated and giving 110% every single day.
And as an experienced tow truck operator, what advice would you give to anyone watching that is interested in becoming a towing and recovery operator?
I would encourage them to pursue it. There's lots of opportunities. It's a great career. Currently with the way that COVID has sort of deteriorated the economy worldwide, there's a lot of opportunities for careers in the tow truck or the towing and recovery world. So I would just insist, if that's what you're interested in, pursue it and see if it's actually something that you really want to do. For me, I love it. I enjoy it. And, when I wake up in the morning to go to work, I really want to go to work because I enjoy it so much.
Great. So I guess we've reached our Q&A portion of this webinar. So Sarah, I'll pass it over to you. Do we have any questions?
We do. We have a great number of questions, actually. I guess one of the most important ones, Chris, is are there any opportunities at Roadway Towing right now for tow operators?
Yeah, there certainly is. I mean, it's a great opportunity here to plug my own business, but we're certainly looking for 2 to 3 tow truck operators. And we're also looking for a person to join our dispatching team. So hopefully we have some people in the audience that are looking for the opportunity to have a chance. I'm more than open and willing to give the right person that opportunity. And, that being said, there's a lot of other tow companies that are certainly looking for tow truck operators and other personnel in their book of business as well. So it's not limited to just Roadway Towing. There's others in the local industry and across Canada and across the USA that certainly could use some employees. So.
And I guess we should mention to our audience, so this is an essential service in society. So you're always going to have a stable career. You're always going to have that job. Again, like we mentioned at the start of the webinar, we need to keep our roads clear, and we can't do that without the tow truck operators. So just wanted to have that there.
Another question we have for you, Chris, is how far out in the greater Fraser Valley does Roadway cover?
For the most part, we have an area that we look after. Then that would be pretty much Delta, part of Surrey. But we do have customers that we reach out to in, Richmond, Langley. We'll go wherever our customers want us to go. We typically try to stick to our own zone. We don't necessarily go into another territory or another area that another tow company operates their book of business in. That's, I guess it's a code of conduct, a code of honor that, we look after our area and we let the other tow companies look after their areas. But that being said, our customers do sort of cross boundaries, so to speak. So we will look after our customers just like our competitors do. And we'll also help our competitors out. Our competitors will call us to help them with a job that they may not have the staff or they might be busy, and we have the opportunity to help them. So it's about working together.
Like you did with Mitchell's Towing and the BC Ferries recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor to be able to work with some other entities. It's every company does things a little bit differently. So it's an opportunity to learn how somebody else operates their business, because they might be doing something that I'd never thought about and it works. So, it's an opportunity to sort of change the way we do our business every single day. So, working with another towing company or another entity, I guess you sort of feel, I'm not sure what the word is, but you feel uncomfortable. So I guess if you're not uncomfortable, you're not learning. When you're uncomfortable, it's when you're learning. So those are some great opportunities to learn.
I agree. We do have a couple of questions here about commission and hourly wages. At Roadway Towing, do you pay by commission or hourly?
We do pay by commission. So yeah, we pay by commission. So again, it depends. So somebody that doesn't have any skill set whatsoever in the towing industry, we bring them on, we train them. The training can take anywhere from a week to 3 weeks. We will pay that person an hourly rate. Once we feel satisfied that they're competent to be on their own, we move them into the commission-based remuneration. And there's a bit of a scale on the commission. It wouldn't be fair to commission somebody that has a lower skill set the same amount that a person has been in the industry for quite some time. So it's a bit of a scale, and it doesn't take long to get up to the scale where all the other tow operators are at.
One thing we talked about earlier is that it's kind of as much effort as you're willing to put into it. If you're willing to put in long hours, hard work, you're going to get, I'm assuming, a relatively higher percentage of commission. Whereas if you're somebody that's not willing to work as hard, you're going to get a lower level of commission.
Yeah, for sure. I think at the end of the day, it's what you put into it. You know, if you wanted, for example, if you went and changed somebody's tire on their car that was flat and you decided to have an hour conversation with them about how the weather is and what color the grass is, then, you know, that's it's an hour of great time having that communication or dialogue with another human being. But, you know, you just spent an hour where you could have been doing another job. So, you know, there's a time for everything, and sometimes you have extra time to have those conversations, but, you know, the sooner you get done a job safely, efficiently, and those sort of things, you're closer to that next job. So yeah, the more effort you put in, the more opportunity you have to earn more income. And you know, yeah, the hours can be long. We're looking to staff up so that we can reduce the hours that our staff are putting in. So, you know, it's, as much as I'd like it to be all about towing and recovery and roadway towing, I understand that my staff have lives too, and so I need to respect that, and I do respect that. So at the end of the day, it's about our staff having a lifestyle as well. It's not all just about me and my company.
Here's a good question about how the shifts work. Are tow truck operators on call or assigned shifts?
That's a good question. I think every tow company around has their own sort of way of setting up their shifts. Some companies, due to their location, they may have a set shift, but when your shift is done, you're on call. So typically it may take the tow truck home and sit at home and watch TV until the phone rings, and then you go do another job. For roadway towing specifically, we have set shifts. So it could be 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or something like that. It could be a night shift, but for us, when your shift is done, you go home. So every company is going to be a little bit different how they have their schedule set up.
And I just want to take a moment from the Q&A portion of this webinar to remind everyone that there is an opportunity to do a ride along with Roadway Towing. If you're interested in being entered into the draw, if you want to private message us your name and email, then we'll be selecting a winner after the webinar. So if you are interested in seeing what towing is like hands-on and being able to ask a tow operator all the questions that are flying into our chat right now, feel free to enter that contest.
Sarah, I would like to just note as well that being a tow truck operator is not just limited to males. There's a lot of females in the industry, and in my opinion, a lot of those females are great tow truck operators. They tend to do a lot of the jobs that the men tend to not want to do. So there's a lot of great female tow truck operators in our industry, and I'd encourage any female that's sort of interested to pursue it. It's a great opportunity.
And what skills would benefit an applicant? For example, first aid or any sort of management training? What would you say would help an applicant?
Yeah, I think a lot of, you know, there's a lot of different people in this world, and people have a lot of different skill sets, and it might not necessarily be an automotive type skill set that they have, but, you know, first aid is an excellent one. Maybe they have a forklift certificate or other machines, you know, excavators. Maybe they have tickets to operate those. You know, maybe they have a commercial driver's license. You know, maybe they're a CPA or a certified bookkeeper. I mean, all those sorts of things certainly help. You know, even some management skills certainly help, because the way I look at it as a tow truck operator, even though it's my tow truck and I own it, I encourage my staff to sort of think as that tow truck as their own little business, so to speak. So force them to operate it as if it was their own business and try to make it successful.
One thing I see working alongside a lot of tow operators is it's less about the specific skill set and more about your character attributes. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think character plays a huge role in our job. I mean, the skill sets can be they can be easily learned, but I think it's having the demeanor and doing the right things and saying the right things and having compassion and kindness that can set one tow operator apart from another tow operator.
And I just want to clarify, because we are getting a lot of questions about salary and commission and everything. Earlier in the webinar, Chris did say that there's sort of a sliding scale, anywhere between $50,000 to $120,000 a tow operator can make. It all depends on how much effort the tow operator is willing to put into it. That being said, one of the questions we got is, would it be possible to work part-time while attending post-secondary school? What do you think about that?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, again, for me, just to answer that question, I think each tow company is going to have their own way of doing things, but I currently have two young men that work for me that are both taking post-secondary education. So they're part-time guys working for me, and I encourage them to work part-time and do their schooling. And so it works for me. It certainly works for me. And if I can help somebody gain an education just by providing them a couple of shifts a week, works for me and it works for them. So I'm open for part-time help.
And so that being said, you're only getting paid on commission if there are jobs. What is a tow truck operator doing if they aren't on call at the moment?
Typically, everybody's business is different again, but our guys tend to stay pretty steady all day long or all evening long. So, when there isn't a job on the go, then they get the opportunity to, they could sit and have coffee somewhere and kick their feet up and rest. Or, for us, some of our operators live in the area that they work. They can go home and sit down on their couch and watch TV until the next call comes in. So, or we can bring them back to our yard and we can do some little bit of training modules in our yard. There's lots of things to keep the guys busy, but for the most part, the staff or the operators tend to stay somewhat busy for the majority of their shift.
Is there extra compensation for an overnight shift?
I tend to excuse me, I tend to pay our evening or graveyard type guys, I tend to pay them a little bit more money for the fact that most people think that it's a bit of an undesirable shift. So for me, that's what I do. I pay my graveyard or evening guys a little bit more.
And I do have a question here. Can someone outside of Canada apply for an open position? I know that this would speak more to you at Roadway Towing. Would you be in a position to accept international applicants and sponsor them for a work visa? Is that something you guys have ever considered?
I have considered it. This is something new to me, and it's just come up in dialogue here over the last month or so. So I don't have all the information, but if somebody has a visa and they're able to work, then I have no issue hiring them. But I'm certainly intrigued and interested at looking at the opportunities to sponsor somebody to apply and receive their visa to work here in Canada. It's about, I guess I need to do my due diligence and find out how it all works and make sure that we're making the right decisions, so that we don't, do the wrong thing and the employee doesn't do the wrong thing. So certainly interested and intrigued by it.
And I have an interesting question here that I suspect comes from another tow operator, because this is a topic that comes up a lot. And I know you kind of addressed one of the solutions being to bring more staff on, but how do you address the work-life balance for your team?
Well, I guess that being said, I've been in their shoes. I know what it's like to work long hours, work in extreme weather conditions and work all day and all that. I've been there, done that, and I try to make sure that my staff get the rest, get the time off that they need, and make sure that they do the right things by taking time for their family. As much as I'd like it to be all about roadway towing, I need to make sure that my staff are well rested and in the right frame of mind to come to work every single day. So I encourage my staff to, I guess, enjoy life. That's, at the end of the day, that's what we're on this planet for, is to enjoy life. So
that's a good question, or a good answer, I should say. I'm just looking here at, you talked a little bit about bringing females into industry. Are there typically roles that males and females do as far as like dispatch and tow operators, or do you think that there's opportunities available to both genders?
I think I don't think, I know there's opportunities for both genders. We have had females work as tow truck operators. We've had females as dispatchers, and we have males as dispatchers. So there's no really gender specific job at Roadway Towing or any other tow company. I don't treat females any different. They have to go out and change a flat tire just like the guys do, or vice versa. So we've been successful with the females that we've had working for us in the past. We had a female that was a tow truck operator, and she's done it for a number of years, and she's moved up into our dispatch facility. So again, I encourage both genders to seek a career in our industry. It's a great industry.
That's kind of the cool thing about becoming a tow operator, is that it's about the effort you put into the job, that there's no one really limited unless they just don't want to put the effort in. So I think, as a female, I work as a journalist in the industry, but it's never stopped me from pursuing some training. I've done Recmaster 2-3, and I had a really good time, and I was never discriminated against based on my gender. So I think towing, it has a lot of opportunities that people should consider.
Absolutely.
We have time for one last question. And that would be, where in the province or where in Canada are the most opportunities available?
I would say right across the province at this current time. If you look at all the job postings, AutoCareers, it's autocareers.ca, I believe is what it is, and all the others online things of looking for jobs, there's numerous jobs of towing right across the whole entire country. So I think it's not just area specific. I know I see ads all the time, and it's right across the whole country.
So that's all the time we have for our Q&A portion today. But if you do have any questions, you feel free to email us. You can email us at communication@ara.bc.ca, or check us out on AutoCareersBC.ca for more information. And I'm going to pass this back over to Dejla.
Thank you, Sarah. So again, thank you everybody for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the discussion, and we hope you'll consider becoming a tow truck operator or even getting your foot into the industry. Like Sarah mentioned, you can check us out at AutoCareersBC.ca. Right now, I believe we have 2 job openings open. I can't talk today. We have 2 vacancies open for Roadway Towing. So I think Eva's going to pull up our website. So as you can see, we have light duty tow operator, dispatcher, and then below that, we have all the other automotive jobs. So go ahead, you guys, go apply. We encourage you. If you have any more questions, any concerns, or anything like that, please feel free to message us. Other than that, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today, and hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.